The season is over for the Purple Army, and pack up the sandbags because there's no more tsunami. The Pies ambushed Adelaide, the Cats were sublime, despite Rayner receiving the worst freeze of all time. The Hawks won in front of their travelling supporters with Wizards in the bay of 9 3/4, and Swallow kicked a point we all will remember, so crack a 4X, we've got a Q clash in September. This is Triple M Footy's Midweek Rub, 3 remaining I believe. Before the end of the season, we've got Joey, Daisy and Damo in the studio for a Wednesday. How are we all?
Good, thank you. How are you, Wilbur? Is Rabsy going to be back for any of them, or are you going to go all the way through now?
I think Rabsy won't be back until grand final week.
Right.
So
now, he's not going to come straight back in, though, is he? You've done the hard yards.
Match committee grand final week.
Oh, wow. Imagine getting the tap on the shoulder. Well, Rab, there was controversy because he arrives back on the 16th. And we were told he's coming back to work on the rush hour on the 17th. Right. But he's RSVP'd yes to the Australian Football Media Awards, which are on the Tuesday night on the 16th. So he can make it to that.
Oh. Wow.
I assume we're nominated for those?
I would hope so.
Yeah, for sure. We got beaten last year by Harry and Ben Mackay, remember?
Yes, very good. No, don't laugh.
I'm not laughing. I just said that we got beaten. That's all.
Still not sure which one's which.
But we'll see how we go this year.
Well, your other show could get nominated because you were hosting that last night. Well done to you.
Thank you.
I tuned in and a different person was steering the ship.
Yes, got a phone call yesterday morning. The corn was out sick. So they trusted Daisy Boy here just to steer the show around. And look,
it was a good show last night.
It was okay, yeah.
One of the best.
I thought I was serviceable. I tell you what I was most pumped about, the cold opener where you got to hype it all up. Yep. One take, walked in, went bang, see you later.
That's the best way to do it.
One take.
One take,
Daisy.
That's it.
The more takes you do, the harder it gets.
Yes.
Very good.
But no, my DMs were blowing up a little bit about that, saying, is this a permanent role? Have you just shafted the corn? You'll be getting a great amount of joy out of that, which isn't the case. I think he's going to be back. But the other part of my DMs is just how powerful you and your St Kilda Mafia have become. This started as a bit of a piss take from everyone. And you were, Joe.
It's getting out of hand.
But, mate, people are genuinely believing that you, Rui, Lenny, BJ Dale have got the power to keep players and to make decisions. Marcus Windhager's name's been thrown around that he's going to leave. All of a sudden, hey, Joey, confirm or deny, can you sort this out?
That is true. I've had people message me, Joey, I'm nervous about Windhager. Can you get it done? I think people don't realise it's a piss take.
It's not a piss take.
No, this is it.
We made a call and we'll get Windhager done. Don't worry about that. That's another one in the bag.
You've lent into this in recent weeks. And I love it, Joey. You've finally come clean. You're happy to go along with it because it is factual.
I have not.
You realise that you just have to acknowledge it and then hope that we think you're tricking. Like a double bluff.
Yeah.
What's happening with Rowan Marshall in all seriousness? Because the Geelong Footy Club gold
Are you walking him?
No.
You would know.
You know.
I do not.
Well, you got
bring
to
Rui if you don't know.
So are you walking him?
Am I walking him?
Yeah.
Is he the collateral in the whole thing?
There's still a lot to play out. Trade period's still to come. He's a contract for 2 more years.
You're going to have to find another truck with some cigarettes because you're running out of cash.
Geelong will have to stay away.
This will be a heist.
Is he the collateral to this project?
Chris Scott might be next, and we might come after. Just stay away from
Rowan
Rowan Marshall.
Ross?
No, for Rowan
you
Marshall.
come to us.
For Rowan Marshall, I meant.
I thought you were out in the bus. Jesus, careful. You don't put that on the public record. Your horse's head's in your bed.
Very good.
AFL are always going at it with the NRL and vice versa, and the whole Peter V'landys era of NRL operations. They've made some noises, haven't they? And he's fired another shot today on radio, Will, somewhere.
We saw what the FLA got. What's he called? Labrador or Poodle or Labradoodle? I'm not sure.
Oh, Peter.
All I know is it's a dog act. So we had to get better than that. We actually got a vocalist. So there's none of this doof stuff. This bloke can actually sing.
Oh, Peter. Is he going after your man Snoop Dogg?
He's going after the Snoop.
Which is incredible because Teddy Swims, if anything, I'd probably say that's more of an AFL crowd, sing along, and Snoop Dogg maybe to the NRL, but not the case. Teddy Swims is going to be at the NRL Grand Final.
Who's Teddy Swims?
Yeah, Joey and I asked each other this off air. We've heard of him, and we have heard of his song.
Do you want to hear some Teddy just for a bit of context? This is one of his big ones, Lose Control.
Oh, yeah.
This guy.
This one.
Hey. It's a good get.
Not as good as Damo's man.
What about my man from 1991?
Dog. Ah, yeah.
You love that, Dave, don't you?
I do,
You
yeah.
played it on the way home, as I said it.
I went and put a little best of Snoop the other week when we talked about it on the way home. I didn't realise how many genuine bangers he had that you can properly get involved and sing along to.
Oh, this a doof doof stuff.
The doof Peter.
Brings back Damo back to his 20s
Yeah,
when he used to
that's
get
it.
amongst it.
That's
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Maybe early 30s, Joey.
Hot boxing in a Corolla.
Actually, no, sorry, it was the 20s, yeah, the 90s, yeah.
What did you used
I'm
to
losing.
drive in your 20s? What was
I had a Commodore. It was a metallic green Commodore.
VL?
4 on the floor.
Oh,
no
yeah.
power steering.
No,
Sick
perfect.
of it. Yeah. It was only a 6, not an 8. But,
Okay.
that's
very
good.
Predictions for week 2 of the finals to come, as well as fair dinkum or Fugazi. But Damo's news is next on Triple M's Midweek Rub, thanks to BWS. Predictions to come for those 2 semi-finals, as well as fair dinkum or Fugazi. But Damo, your news is up first, and Josh Rochelle is on the discussion table for this weekend.
He's up for selection, has recovered from the knee injury days. Do you pick him for the Crows against the Hawks in this now cutthroat semi-final, given the lack of spark and excitement and even resistance to a point that the Crows displayed against Collingwood in that losing qualifying final?
What a conundrum. Apparently he was ready to go last week, but they thought they'd give him another block, which that's probably the sell I'd be saying too if I was Adelaide. I think I'd probably roll the dice with an understanding that he may be the one that's subbed out and how you plan around that, obviously other injuries. But he's someone who can kick you 2 or 3 goals in a couple of minutes and just change momentum in a game, and that's something that they really lacked against the Pies. So it's going to be tough, but I reckon I probably would roll the dice because if you lose, you're done.
I'm probably hearing he hasn't done a big body of work. Like, this is a bit of a risk to get him right to play this week. I'd do the other way. I'd make him the sub and come on and try and give them a spark if they need it. If he had to play a full game, if someone goes down early, which is worst case scenario, he could probably get through. But I think ideally you bring him on late in the third and he can turn the game in 40 minutes would probably be how I would play him.
Play him out of the goal square?
Yeah, deep forward.
Yeah. Don't worry about getting involved in transition.
Feet of the small, feet of the talls.
Or to the talls, get up. If you get it, just boot it in.
Yeah. Because he had a good year, hadn't he, to the point of being injured. And it was a great response to what happened last year. It was messy for him on field and off field, maybe more off field, but he and it was dropped late in the season, wasn't he, 2024 by Matthew Nicks, and he did that for rationale that was validated, and he performed, and now he's got a chance, I think, to still have impact in this season. We've had a Bobby Hill conversation in this segment of this show for the best part of, I think, 6 weeks now, every single week for that 6 weeks. Last week even, it was still a long shot that he was going to be considered to be playing again this year. The odds are coming in on that bookmaker's board. It's if you want to put that on it, I reckon it's down to 10-1. It's still an outside.
So from
option.
write your own ticket,
100-1, 150-1. It's a chance now. It's worth a chance, and he just still needs to get through the training clearly. But the fact that he was prepared to play in a VFL, it was a real informal scratch match on the weekend. But he did. He missed training even as recently as last week, but if he does have this runway of 2 weeks leading into the selection meeting that they need to have going into their preliminary final, I don't think it's beyond the realms that they roll the dice on him.
I reckon this is a chat that you'd be having with the wider playing group.
A leadership group.
You'd be pulling the leaders in and saying, right, give us sort of the feel of the rest of the playing group. Is it going to cause noses to be out of joint? Because if that's what it is, and that's what happens, you're probably not playing him purely for that. Even if he is fit, ready and available, and there's other players going, well, I've done everything right. I play my role. That's what all you ask of me. Yep. Yes, he might have more talent, but this is a way forward. A little bit like Jared Blair, Paul Medhurst back in 2010, 2011.
Yeah, right.
Medhurst was the better player, if you will, more skillful, but Blairy ever reliable, so he got the nod.
Yeah, I think this would be a conversation with leaders. They'll be involved in this one, the trust, the integrity of selection and what they feel, and they'll make a collective. So we know the talent's undeniable. He'd be a sub again in a prelim if they were to play him.
Yeah.
But it'll be up to whether the trust is there from his coaches and teammates.
And not to make it a conversation around to say a Rowan Steele, but he was ultimately, in the last game played, the last man in as that sub player, and someone who's come in the system quite recently through the other mechanisms of drafting. It won't be the most difficult decision. We're not talking about
Jeremy Howe's got to come in as well, though.
He does.
So there's got to be two changes to that
yeah.
Collingwood team that went over to Adelaide and won. If they were to bring Bobby Hill in, so Rowan Steele, yes, I probably agree. That's a relatively straightforward one. The young man hopefully will get more chances. Who's the other one? Who's the other one that's in that team that went to Adelaide that Collingwood could leave out? That might be the contentious discussion.
Can almost guarantee we'll be talking about him again in this slot again next week as we get closer to that prelim final. This the Brisbane Lions, obviously, they've responded to adversity all year, haven't they? With their win-loss and the fact they've had to cover for no Joe Danaher. In recent weeks, there's been no Eric Hipwood, and now we know that there's no Lachie Neale for the remainder of the year. I feel they've got one more significant shot to fire, and in their case, they will still believe, ultimately, that they will have 3 more shots to fire. But this game against the Suns on the weekend is massive for obvious reasons, but they're going to have to do it without Lachie Neale and others who failed to perform in their qualifying final. Hugh McCluggage, who we've heaped a lot of praise on this year, was one of those.
Yeah, he was, and there are a number of Brisbane Lions players that were disappointed with their performance. Lachie Neale, we know, is a massive out. Will, I know you're in this chat, but they did beat Fremantle and Hawthorn just before the finals without Lachie Neale. So they can do it. Hipwood missed one of those games and had no influence in the other. So they have beaten finalists in recent weeks without no Neale and no Hipwood. So it's not like they're going into this game with something they haven't faced before. No doubt it's going to be a challenge. We don't want to give away the tips later on, but it's very hard to write off the champs. Yeah. They are the reigning champs for a reason. And as you said earlier, every time they've faced adversity this season, whether it's responding off a poor performance or injury, they've found a way to bounce back.
Yeah, I was lauding their just one man in, next man up sort of mentality last week with their system, and I haven't gone away from that. I think that's still what it was. They had an off night against the Cats. Lachie Neale being a little bit banged up coming into it, his defensive transition was 0. Right. So when you got McCluggage worrying more about what he's doing and how he's getting the footy rather than defensively, the Cats really exposed them transition-wise, getting back towards their goal. Levi Ashcroft, I reckon he's going to get some minutes through that midfield.
He's out of form, Days. I know he's a first-year player.
Playing a wing role, and we saw, and he got exposed. In finals, your weaknesses really get magnified, and it really shows where your deficiencies are. He played on a genuine winger, probably one of the better wingers in the comp, Ollie Dempsey, and he got caught tracking the ball. The wing role, just holding your width, is what Dempsey does so well, and that was exposed. So I think this is an opportunity to put him through there, and a little bit like Geelong. Due to circumstances, you're going to get some different looks. Bailey will go through there, Rayner will go through there, Ashcroft as well. So they'll have some different plans, and McCluggage, well, you have to tag him, surely.
Yeah, I think so. Again, because he was shut out of the game last week for that reason. You've been a big fan of the Suns, Days. They delivered in brilliant fashion, didn't they, on the weekend just gone? Can they, again, to Joey's point, let's not preempt the tips you're going to give in this game, but it was a good storyline in a season of footy, what they did against the Dockers.
Danger side. Almost, again, another free hit, and that's not the way that they'll be framing it internally. But, if they go and roll Big Brother, and this rivalry that's starting to become real, the players hate each other. Yeah. And I love that. They started with Touk Miller and Dane Zorko when they were bona fide midfielders and some shenanigans that went on there. I reckon they'll end up on each other, half-back, defensive half forward, which Touk has been playing. So that's popcorn. But they hate each other, and I love it. It's a real chance for the Gold Coast Suns to say, right, we've officially arrived, and no better time to get them. They are banged up as we touched on.
You brought up in the pre-season, the Gold Coast players, didn't they lip off to Will Ashcroft about not deserving the Norm Smith medal?
In a practice match.
Yeah, the hockey match is going then, so they had the confidence. They got the swagger. No, they can win this game. There's no doubt. They beat them by 11 goals, Brisbane, not that long ago. Absolutely pummeled them around the midfield. So they'll be feeling good about themselves. Rowell and Anderson continue to increase their standing in the game. They are now the best 1-2 midfield combination in the competition. They could run Quinella to Brownlow almost. So if they keep rolling the way they are, it's going to be so much fun. And well done. So it was a great moment, the Dave Swallow moment to get that.
It was.
How good's Damien Hardwick? He did it with Marlon Pickett, picking him for a grand final those years ago. And then the sentiment of picking David Swallow, who could have almost lost the game for them when he had a horrible turnover in the middle of the ground that cost a goal the other way.
The statue wasn't being built at that moment, was it?
And then all of a sudden he redeemed himself. And it was a great moment.
And whatever happens this week, you almost know that moment is going to be reflected upon as being the start point for whatever now lies ahead for them. There's that feel about this club at the moment, whether it's this year, next year, or down the track, but it's going to happen. Triple M footy, we sort of avoid the politics, don't we, of the game, the way we discuss the matters that matter in the game. I say that to set the AFL Commission conversation up only briefly. It's we need to hit it because it ultimately is the body that does control the game. But it's
what's going on? Bring us up to speed as quickly as you can for those
simple summation.
I'll do it really quickly as best I can.
I don't understand, and I've been spoken to about this a lot.
It's a mess. It's been stagnant for some time. They've been very slow to replace missing commissioners. They've been very slow to have a succession plan for Richard Goyder, who now has indicated and told people he will not be seeking to renew his place on the commission. And the battle that is to replace him, and there was a subcommittee set up which has basically been ineffectual and non-effective, and now the clubs in 1980s style have got together en masse and are now thinking they've got the power back.
So it's a power struggle.
It's a power struggle. What I will say about it, just from my observations of this operation now for the best part of 30 years, you cannot let the clubs get near it. I understand why they feel they've got a right to be near it right now, given the AFL itself at commission level has been so slow. But this has to be independent. It was set up to be independent in the 1980s when the clubs themselves almost ran themselves into oblivion. The commission has been very good for a long period of time. I think it needs to get back to that dynamic way of operations as it was when it was first set up.
So you mean the commission then should choose the next commissioner, not allow the clubs to have too much say?
The clubs should not have any say in this. Right. So it's understandable there's lobbying, and I get all of that. But the clubs cannot, as they are now asking the AFL to have, a vote on who it is. It cannot be that way. And we're also not effectively electing the next commission chairman either. It's just the next person on. And because the commission itself
What do they do? What does the commission actually do?
Well, again, just to give it the cute paraphrase, run the game.
Run the game. They tick off on everything, don't they?
Yeah.
But
they're ticking off. They're not so much suggesting change. Change is coming to them.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they've set up, ultimately, its origins were to set up the National League.
Yeah.
And so that's the origins of the commission. I think over and above, for 30 plus years now, they've done a good job, a very good job, but it's got away from them in recent times because of this lethargy in replacing Richard Goyder.
Sums up the leadership that's been an issue at AFL all year long. It's almost the exclamation mark on the lack of leadership or how it hasn't been as good as it could.
And still don't rule out Jeff Brown as being the person who does ultimately end up being that person. While he's now taken himself out of that subcommittee process, does not mean that he hasn't got another way to come back in true Mafia style, Joey,
right.
as you would well know.
All part of the power struggle.
Tips to come. 2 huge semi-finals this weekend, but up next it's fair dinkum or Fugazi on Triple M's Midweek Rub with Joey, Daisy and Damo. Joey, with an upcoming final, it has now exposed the fact that the Q clash...
Did you just give him a you?
Yo. I didn't expect to be first. Yo.
It's exposed the fact that the Q clash needs a better name.
Oh, gee, I've not put 1 second of thought in that.
No, I like it.
Fugazi. I think the Q clash is good. I like it.
I think it's
resonates
stinky.
with me. Well, what are your ideas?
I don't know.
Pineapple grapple.
Pineapple grapple.
That's
That's
shocking.
grapple.
I reckon that's
Please.
shocking.
It is. That's
That
terrible.
sounds like a party you want to get
Q
invited
clash
to.
sounds good. No, I'm happy with it.
Well, Hutchie had the scorcher. I think he
Oh,
put
no,
on the
don't
edge.
want that.
That's not going to work either. No.
The
All right.
scorcher. Oh, boy.
Put some work into it, Will. For
I'll
you.
put some
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
in.
You're the creative
Yeah,
mind.
you're the
Yeah.
creative one.
The Palaszczuk pandemonium.
Put some more work into it.
Could I have that in a sentence?
Damo, 5 games in opening round, with one of those being in Melbourne, completely nullifies the point of opening round in the first place.
That is absolutely fair, Nick. I've got a good idea.
stupid.
I've got a good idea. Start the new season with 9 matches.
Yes.
Opening round. Oh.
No, that's creative. Why wouldn't you just do
It's
a
more
game?
creative than what they've been
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. 2 games in Adelaide, 2 in Perth, and then 1 in
Oh.
Melbourne, and 2 in Sydney, 2 in New Zealand. I don't get
It's
it now.
your St Kilda again. They're going to the AFL with all these proposals. You want
we're just-
international acts.
We're
and-
just a draw card club now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I can't help
Another
it,
club
like,
leveraging off the
Collingwood want
pies.
to play with us.
Everyone
Everyone
wants
wants
to
to
play
play
Collingwood.
against the
Everyone
Saints.
wants Collingwood to play, but they're not the home team because they make enough cash.
All this opening
Jesus.
round was, in the end, was just a real estate grab at an extra weekend of footy. And that's what it ultimately was, and that's what it ultimately is now being proven to be.
And there was a Las Vegas component originally,
Well, I'm in
wasn't
for
there?
that. Yeah, I'll happily be commissioner.
Yeah,
for
it
that.
didn't even work out, did it? Timings
Yeah.
of the NRL season.
No, they
and
were back.
They mucked it all up. That's weird. Anyway.
Very weird. Daisy,
Yes.
the Suns rolling out the pink jumper in a final was an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, that's fair dinkum. That the all red weird looking one they rolled on the weekend, a traditional home strip or whatever. I didn't like it. The pink one, good on them. I'm here for it, so that is fair dinkum. I might even buy myself one.
It's a
Nice.
ripper, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's meant to be a 1 game only use of life.
Yeah.
That being Gather Round this year. They've rolled out a few times since, and it's the merch on it has gone through the roof.
It's a real we don't give a shit.
That's
you
it.
know,
It's
come
cool,
on,
isn't it?
look at
Yeah.
this. Look how cool
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on
And
you.
you're on the start on the train early, the Gold Coast train, and there's a
Very-
lot jumping on board.
Yes, no, steering that ship as well.
Beautiful.
Joey, the Cats have flown under the radar into premiership favouritism.
Fugazi, not in my eyes. They've been the premiership favourites all year from my perspective. They've just done it beautifully. It's just a professional club that have timed it, their fitness, their form. the way they've gone about it, it's no surprise to me that they are now recognised as the premiership favourites.
You know, one thing we've glossed right over was their run into finals. We're all sitting here going, it's been soft. They haven't played a finals team since round 18. They haven't won against one since round 13 or whatever it was. And then they come out and dismantle Brisbane. Yeah. I don't know if we've given that enough credit.
That's a good point because everyone thought maybe they'd be soft coming into the final, but they were ready to. Their first 20 minutes, they were on. And people forget the reason why they had the soft draw at the end is because they played a lot of the top teams early in the season and beat them. Yeah. So, no, they are in the prime A1 spot, no doubt.
Damo, even if they were to lose to Hawthorn, Adelaide would still consider 20what a success.
No, that's a complete Fugazi, Will.
Ooh.
Top of the ladder.
No, I like it. Yeah.
And go it in straight sets. Is what you're saying?
15th to first?
No. Not when you
minor
finish
premier to go out
top
in straight
of ladder
sets.
and then lose in straight sets. There's no success element to that. Wow. You've got to have higher aspirations than finishing top of ladder and then losing 2 finals. So, Fugazi, why are you smirking?
No, I agree in totality with you, Damien.
There's no way. And if they dared present it as success, well, I'm sorry. They're not ready for success if that's the case.
I just don't believe in AFL in a pass and fail season or a success and fail season. They don't exist. We don't look back and go, 1996, that was a pass mark because they played finals, or that was a fail. You're trying to win a flag or you don't, and they're heading in the right direction, Adelaide. So clearly it's going to be a successful season for what happens in the future.
I counter that the Lions jumped from
Shut up.
You know what I mean?
low in the ladder in 2018.
It's not about the Lions. The question was about Adelaide. Take your scarf off and your beanie and shush.
Jumped to second in 2019, went out in straight sets.
Yeah.
And then that ultimately
set them up.
Set them up.
Yeah, how good at Brisbane.
Reigning champs for
Oh,
another
here
3
we
weeks.
go.
Anyway, Daisy.
Get harder, you guys.
The last disposal rule would be the first example of an AFL rule change that has been adequately tested and implemented.
That's fair income. Yes, we've nearly seen it at the minute, haven't we, with the insufficient intent to keep the ball in. So, yeah, that'll be last touch, play on. It'd be interesting. I was sort of hypothesising last night how long it is until you're pinned against the boundary, you just handball it to your opponent and tackle them out of bounds so you get a stoppage rather than just conceding insufficient intent.
And the good clubs will train for scenarios like that, won't they?
You'd be mad not to. Or just boot the ball at the bloke who's right in front of you and hope it hits him and goes out.
Yep.
So is their last disposal and still insufficient intent? So like if you grab the ball and take it out of bounds.
No, that's last disposal.
That's right. But can you still get pinned for if you get the ball and you step out of bounds intentionally? You can still get pinned as well. Pinged for
correct.
If history
deliberate
tells us anything, the AFL will give themselves wiggle room on every single scenario potentially.
Does that make sense?
I think that'll be like under pressure. So your choice to dispose of the ball, you didn't, so you stepped over. So it'd be the opposition's ball.
It would still be paid.
Yeah, change over.
Interesting.
Clear as mud.
Yeah.
And finally, Joey, I quote Damo on the AFL website last night. St Kilda's trading approach is desperate and rare, but the only validation will be making a preliminary final in 2026. That is a fair critique.
Preliminary final?
Prelim final if you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's it. Mate, you can't be chips in.
You taking the Adelaide
don't lower the
let's
expectation.
finish top of ladder and go in straight sets and go,
So if
that's
they
okay.
don't make a prelim and they play finals and make a semi-final, it's a failure.
What do you think you're going to do next year?
Joey doesn't deal in failures and tips and
draft. They're not recruiting these blokes for one season of footy. They've got them there for the next 5-6 years.
When does the prelim final come?
Hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years?
3 to 5?
So what
Half
am I
your
missing?
team won't be there.
What am I missing? Who won't be there? What? Are we expecting prelims next year for St
Have we
Kilda?
kicked this can down another 5 years?
3 to 5 years, I'd hope they are
Joey.
top 4 contending for sure. They're not going to do
We
it
just
next year.
talked about 15th to premiers.
Gee, all right. We're on board. You think they'll make a prelim
Mate,
next
this
year?
is
I don't.
Lift
but
your
I think that's the only
expectation.
validation to what you're doing. The carnage that this is causing to the incumbent
Very
players.
narrow-minded, Damo. It's big picture. They got 5 years with this group.
I once thought footy was based on winning and losing. And you and others, and I get it.
I don't.
There's 5 and 8 year plans. North's into its 10th year plan at the moment. And how are they going?
Oh, that went beautifully. All the week 2 finals predictions and tips are up next on Triple M's Midweek Rub with Joey, Daisy and Damo. 5 games remain in the 2025 AFL season. You can catch them all on Triple M and the Listener app. And we start this weekend, Joey, with Adelaide hosting Hawthorn at the Adelaide Oval on Friday night.
Yes, heading over for Triple M, so looking forward to this one. I'll be doing specials alongside Bernie Vince. This will be a cracking game of footy. Obviously, the Hawks were magnificent against the Giants. They withstood that comeback, steeled themselves. I thought defensively they held up early in the game, went under pressure, but then late, their ability to intercept mark, Sicily, Scrimshaw, Hardwick were excellent. But I'm leaning towards Adelaide bouncing back. I don't think they can play any worse than they did. I think they didn't handle the situation. They panicked. They kicked the ball a lot when they should have challenged Collingwood defensively. I think they'll learn a lot from it. These teams only played, whatever it was, 6 weeks ago, and Adelaide won a great game by about 14 points. The big forwards will stand up. I think Adelaide in a close one.
I'm of the same view, Joey. There's no confidence in me saying Adelaide is my tip, but even as bad as they were against Collingwood, and I was really critical of them not trying anything with any spark, they still got to a situation with 6 minutes to go, they were 3 goals down. And again, it was unlikely that they were going to surge, but they kept pumping the ball forward even at that moment. It got away from them again on the scoreboard, I understand that. But that was, I feel, as bad as they could have played in that circumstance, and I reckon they will have learnt from it and know that they need to go. And I do like the fact that as we talk here this morning, that Josh Rochelle is likely to come back in. I think that gives them a point of difference up forward. So Crows for me, just no confidence.
I like the fact that they come up against the Hawks, who will play a bit of a high-scoring transition game as well. Thilthorpe was horrible last week, so I expect him to bounce back. Just the forward 50 tackles is where I'm concerned for the Crows. The ball was going in and coming straight back out. That's a real strength of Hawthorn. They get it in. They've got that little skeeter fleet there that will making sure that the ball is not only in there, but they're dangerous. They score a lot from in-out 50 rebounding. An interesting one. Last time they played, round 21, 23 of the 28 goals scored were to the hill end.
Okay.
5 goals to 1 in the first quarter, 6 goals 6-0 in the second quarter, 6-2 to 2-2 in the third, and 6-2 to 2-4 in the fourth quarter, which is weird. Okay. I know. Read into that what you will. I think the Crows bounce back. 8-day break to a 6-day break has to have a little bit of a say in it as well.
With Kalshadir now out with the hamstring, and obviously prior to that, Mitch Lewis being taken out, do they bring Lewis back in?
Yeah.
It's just the natural.
Yeah, give him an opportunity, which is great for him. Yeah, he's had a lot of injury troubles, and hopefully the big fella has a good game.
And then Damo, the other semi-final, the first ever finals Q clash, Brisbane hosting the Suns at the Gabba.
I'm quietly confident that the Lions will do as they've done all year, and that is respond to a loss badly the previous week. And I just have faith in Josh Dunkley leading this club through this, at least this week, without Lachie Neale being part of it. And I think to your point, wasn't it, Days, that the fact that Lachie Neale, it might have been you, Joey, so he wasn't running both ways in that game against in the qualifying final. So him not being there in that regard, they won't miss that aspect of it, but they will miss his leadership and his class. But I just reckon they've got one more shot to fire, at the very least, the Lions, and it will be against the Suns in this semi-final.
And they're going to have to be good defensively, the Lions, because the Gold Coast Suns, their work rate, they get back and their forwards work as hard as any, laterally back towards goal. So if it's similar transition to what the Lions put out against the Cats, they could be in trouble and the Suns could be kicking some really easy goals. Ben King, goalless for the first time this season. Last week. So there's a real bit of upside for the Suns in a game that they still won, of course, but I'm not jumping off the Lions. I think they should be winning this game. As much as I want the fairy tale of been driving the Gold Coast Suns bus, I'd be scared if I am the Lions because it's a real free hit, but that should be the Lions in a methodical, a professional way to get a win. Not going to give a margin, but I just think they'll win.
Yeah, the two names I wrote down, it's all about Dunkley and Berry. All they've got to do is slow down the Raul Anderson train. And if they can do that now, not saying they're both going to tag, but Dunkley will go to one. Berry plays that defensive cover at stoppage. They'll just have their eyes on those two. And if they nullify them to some extent, I find it hard for Gold Coast to win, as much as we'd love to see them keep rolling, but I think Brisbane will find a way to get the job done.
Just explore that for a moment, Joey, just with Dunkley, because you just know he's going to
He'll
be
go
the
to
man.
Raul. He'll stand next to Raul at every stoppage.
Yeah.
But Raul flogged him last time they met. Raul had like 15 clearances. So Dunkley, that's why I think will set himself to be much more physical and know how to play Raul, where to stand either in front of him or behind him, or how they want to go about it. And then Berry has an important role, which he's done in the past, around stoppages.
So get him off his access at those clearances,
yeah.
That is one thing, though, the Gold Coast Suns have had a look at, because last time, as you say, that was the matchup, and that's all they went to it. So it's not going to be a little bit of surprise like it was for McCluggage getting tagged. The Gold Coast Suns will be aware of it. They'll have plans around it. So tactically and in the coach's box, it's going to have a big say in this one as well.
You can catch that game and every final on Triple M and the Listener app, starting with the Friday Huddle before heading to Adelaide for the Crows, hosting the Hawks in a semi-final. This has been Triple M Footy's Midweek Rub.